Committee on the Review of the Constitution set to begin zonal public hearing. Chairman of the Southern Senators Forum joins us later on the program to talk about the resolutions of the Southern Governors Forum. This is the Hallowed Chambers. I am Tijesu Adiru. Citizens, civil society organizations, interest groups, professional bodies, and government functionaries will get an opportunity to participate in the Senate's zonal public hearing on the proposed alteration to the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. At this public hearing, a wide range of issues will be deliberated, ranging from gender equality to the legislature and legislative bureaucracy, electoral reforms, establishment of state police, among other things. It is hoped that this process of the alteration of the Constitution will address many agitations that has frayed nerves of citizens and different groups in the country. The Southern Senators Forum have thrown their full weight behind the resolutions of the Southern Governors to address critical issues affecting national growth and development. The Southern Senators even urged the governors to follow through with their demands and also approach the National Assembly for legislative backing. Joining me now is the chairman of the Southern Senators Forum, Senator OPEYEMI, BAMIDELE. Thank you very much for joining us on the program today, sir.
My pleasure to be here.
We'll go straight into the matters. We have seen the Southern Senators Forum come out to stand behind the Southern Governors' resolution. How far-reaching is the effect of this decision to stem the tide of insecurity?
Well, I guess we're at a point now in the life of our country where all hands must be on deck for us to be able to not only safeguard our people, but in saving lives and property, also stabilize our economy. You can't talk of any of these where, in a situation of insecurity. And at this point, it's important that we all work together. Unfortunately, unlike some people would want to see this thing, this is no longer about the North or about the South, about the West or about the East. This is about Nigeria. When any part of Nigeria is in crisis, the whole country is in crisis. We are so happy that the Southern Governors have also come together to take a position. Their counterparts in the North have held several meetings as Northern Governors Forum, using that platform to be able to push certain positions. And in every way that we could be in support of such positions, in the National Assembly, we have always offered our support. And I think it is good that the Southern Governors Forum also came together, to take some far-reaching positions. And in the Southern Senators Forum, we have also considered this, and we know that they are on the right side of history, they are on the side of the people, and we'll do everything possible to work with them, because a lot of the issues that they are raising are issues that will border on a review of our laws, the extant laws in the country, in the Constitution as presently exists. And we need to work with them, along with our other colleagues from the northern part of the country, to ensure that we're able to rework our Constitution in a way that can guarantee security of life and property in this country.
As it stands, the Southern political leaders are on the same page for once, but one of the resolution is for the federal government to convoke a national dialogue as a matter of urgency. Wouldn't this turn out to be another talk shop like the other one that was done in 2014?
Well, I think it's all about political will. Political will on the part of the leadership of the country to make a difference, and political will on the part of all stakeholders to walk our talk. Talk is cheap, as it is said, but sometimes it's also important to ask, within which context are you holding this talk, and what's informing the talk? And I have no doubt at this point that this is not going to be about philosophy. As it is said, philosophers have interpreted the world what is important now is to change it. Any talk at this point must be geared towards ensuring that we are actually able, to take the necessary steps. Whatever happens, even if you are going to change the law, even if you are going to adopt a policy, if you are going to even implement an existing law, an existing policy that have not been implemented, you still need to talk.
So what's going to stand out this time, distinguished from the previous one?
Definitely, the situation in the country right now is such that it does not even give room for any lengthy talk that is not aimed at ensuring immediate change or immediate implementation. Every resolution at this point must be geared towards implementing, some program, some agenda. We are at a point where we can't afford to fold our arms. And yes, there had been talks in the past that seemed to be a highway to nowhere. There had been talks in the past that people did not see the need to follow through on. There had been talks coordinated by one form of administration or the other, which subsequent administrations did not follow through on. But now we're at a point where it can no longer be business as usual. We just have to do what we have to do. We have to take steps. And please remember, even in the National Assembly, part of what we have resolved to do with respect to the ongoing constitutional review aimed at amending relevant sections of our Constitution is to bring back on the table the various talks, some of the talks that are held in the past. Some of the reports that we have that we're working on today, include the Justice Ways Committee's reports, which had taken place based on the talk that had taken place some years back. We're also working with some of the reports of the Constitution, the conference, which was actually conducted by the previous administration of His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Jonathan as president of this country, and some other reports. So also the report of the Committee on Restructuring set up by the APC-led government, and which was also under the chairmanship of the incumbent governor of Kaduna State, Malam El-Rufai. We have all these and other reports on the table that we are working on. We also have even previous bills that had been passed by the National Assembly, which were not assented to, aimed at constitutional amendment. We are working on all of these. So if our governors also saw the need, to, come together and ensure that a conference is convened aimed at also bringing all stakeholders to table to discuss the way forward in this country, I think all of these things will come together. What is important is, at this point, what we do with the reports flowing from the past and current, as well as the intending talks, that the Southern governors are proposing should hold.
In a statement you jointly signed with your colleagues in support of the decision of the governors, you said there's a need for restructuring of a highly lopsided nation. Does this suggest that indeed there is currently a lack of federal character and certain regions are neglected while some are favored?
Well, I will put this this way. It's not necessarily about favor or neglect. But one thing that we all cannot run away from at this point, except we are deceiving ourselves or we are just playing the ostrich, is the fact that there is a need for us to respect the federal character principle as enshrined in Section 14, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. It's a constitutional provision that is so clear, and it is aimed at ensuring unity and stability for the country. And in the event that there is a deviation from this constitutional provision and guarantee, then it leads to unnecessary tension. It threatens the unity and harmony and peace of the country. And this cannot continue. And these are some of the issues that people are raising. It's not about any particular administration. You know, yes, people have raised issues with respect to some of the appointments that the current administration under President Buhari, has made. It was also an issue when President Jonathan was there. It was an issue when President Yar'Adua was there. It was an issue when President Obasanjo was there. It has always been an issue. And so it's not a strange peculiarity of the Buhari administration. Must we allow this to continue, or must we continue with so much impunity? I mean, the answer is no, because it's not helping our unity as a country. Is leading to unnecessary and avoidable tension. And it's time, more than ever before, to revisit some of these issues and address them. And of course, people are talking about restructuring of the country. We also cannot run away from this. The colonial masters did all they could with the amalgamation of the Northern and Southern Protectorate in 1914. From there, the military, tried to take it beyond that level to continue to create more states and more local governments for the country as a way of ensuring that there is some balancing. And our constitution is such that it is aimed at trying to ensure cooperation, ensure unity, and ensure that none of the federating units is undermined by establishing the principle of federal character. We must take it beyond where the colonial masters left it in 1914. We must take it beyond where the successive military, rulers left it, and beyond what the military regime had done. This would be an opportunity for a democratically elected government to galvanize the Nigerian people and ensure that we're able to properly restructure the country in a way that, will tally with the popular yearnings and aspirations of the Nigerian people. And this is supposed to be the essence of this. And people have said restructuring will mean different things to different people, but the truth about it is there's no doubting the fact that if you are talking about restructuring, we're talking about the need, to define how we are going to be able to relate, as a nation.
Most of these resolutions will need legislative backing, but now there are fears that it will suffer a setback in the National Assembly as some lawmakers who are blinded by political interest against national interest will oppose any move to restructure the country. Can you say something about this?
Well, with due respect to all of my colleagues in the National Assembly, I want to say that I do not see any elected senator or any elected member of the House of Representatives who does not or who will not mean well for Nigeria. Yes, it's important that people have political interests. It's important, it's normal that people have geopolitical interests. It's important that people have even religious interests. But the various political parties that we belong to were just the vehicles for us to get to the National Assembly. Our constitution says you must be a member of a political party for you to be able to contest an election. Our constitution is yet to recognize independent candidacy in this country. So it means you must belong to a political party to be able to contest. Otherwise, you will not even be a member of the National Assembly. But we must take it beyond there by recognizing the fact that these political parties on whose platform we were elected were only the vehicles for us to get to the National Assembly.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria. TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that...
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
The Deputy Minority Leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable TOBY OKECHUKWU, also joins me to give another perspective to the resolutions of the Southern governors. It's good to have you on the program. How do you describe the current security situation in the country?
Well, first and foremost, we must not allow the nation to fail. But we are in a very perilous situation. There appears to be a state of dysfunction regarding the security of lives and property in Nigeria. You know, what started primarily in the northeast with terror attacks from Boko Haram has graduated to the northwest with banditry, with herders, farmers crisis, and with people who are taking advantage of mineral resources of that area to introduce some kind of state of anomy, where is a free land for exploitation. So it is in the southeast, you can see the attacks on men and women in uniform. And then you can also see the crisis of herders and local people, those state, Ogun, and the spate of kidnapping. In the non-central is self-evident. So I think we're gradually approaching a state of anomy, and it's not good for the country.
You are one of the lawmakers who declared support for the Southern governors' resolutions to the insecurity in Nigeria. How well do you believe in these postulations?
The Southern governors came up with some solutions to our problem, and because they provide sufficient basis to finding solutions, that's why we issued a communique after consultations regarding that, and we are fully in support of it because it provides some solutions to our problem. If you're starting from the fact that the president has to talk to us, he simply has to. We hired Mr. President, we are his employers. So it is not a battle we have to win for him to talk to us. So we should do it as a matter of duty, and it will calm nerves. He's a father figure for the nation, and he should be able to reassure us. You take the issue of state police. This has been on public domain for a long time. And they are the ones who are wearing the shoes. They know where it pinches. As a matter of fact, 2014 conference report recommended state police, the devolution of decentralizing it. The APC committee report, headed by El-Rufai, recommended it. It is on the table for constitutional review due to bills proposed by members of parliament. It's been there. And presently, you can see how we are hurting.
The governors have spoken about ban to open grazing, true federalism and restructuring, among other resolutions. How well are you in sync with this?
Well, with regard to open grazing, well, you know that it has been on the table and it's been a source of misunderstanding, clashes between citizens who have ordinarily lived together. In addition, it has also been exploited by criminals who follow up these cattle. They are not herders, they follow up these cattle and exploit the opportunity. More importantly, in the Northwest, when it started, you find out that when you have young people take these cattle, across the length and breadth of this country, they are available for rustling. They are not secure because it is not possible for you to have forest rangers or police that will follow cattle all across. And that is the genesis of this problem. Cattle were rustled, and you find out that those young people who were 10 years then are now 20 years. There is no cattle to herd. So they now there's no cattle to rustle. They are now rustling human beings. And they are in conflict with people who are farmers, even in the Northwest. So you have conflict that is going on. They tell you it's local vigilantes. Local vigilantes were trying to check banditry. And along the line, the bandits are also attacking the villagers. And farms have been sacked, cattle are rustled, an armada of young people are ungainfully employed. So they are available for exploitation. So what we need to do is to create an enabling environment where it is possible for them to practice their trade. And that was what the governors were saying. Our governors are responsible for land. This is completely squarely on their table. And we have large expanse of land like in the north or in the northern parts of the country. Niger State is too large. It is a matter of setting your mind to it. Let us provide land for ranching. And now the governors of the South also propose that CBN in their interventions should also make funds available. If they can provide money for anchor borrowers or for farmers, why not for animal husbandry? There have to be a proper livestock policy. And if you are interested in exploiting the opportunity of a ranch or private businesses, if you have money, you can invest. People can just concentrate on grass, growing grass, feeds. And that is what can take us to the promised land.
The Northern Consultative Forum has risen against restructuring. At what point do we see the North and the South coming to a meeting point?
Well, the Southern governors also mentioned that they should discuss. There should be dialogue. There should be a meeting point. But the ACF reply or response is a matter of looking at the messenger, not the message. Because if you look at northern governors, they also said they wanted state police. All the governors are in sync with it. That is the restructuring you are talking about. You take it piecemeal. The ones that you can agree, you do. So I don't know why people are... The restructuring means you make a law that cures a mischief that is hurting you. Every law, each time you enact a constitution, by the time we move from parliamentary to presidential system, you're restructured. By the time we created 774 local governments and made them a tier of government, we restructured. So if there are things we find that are not functional, we restructure to make it better, and that is why you amend the constitution.
There have been talks about Nigeria seeking foreign assistance in the fight against insecurity.
I'm not averse to that. You have friends. After all, you must definitely get foreign assistance. Why? The level of manufacture we have here is poor with regards to arms and ammunition. You must also have friends from overseas for you to be able to bring the armaments you need. Then if you need special technical assistance from overseas, why not? Countries do it. We went to Liberia. Because our own are deteriorated to the point that our military men and women in uniform are thinly spread. You can imagine a situation where they are telling you that Boko Haram is in Nasarawa State. The governor said so. Border between Nasarawa and Benue State. The governor of Niger State is telling you that Boko Haram has hoisted their flag in Shiroro. Governor El Rufai is telling you that the bandits and criminals are approaching towns in Kaduna. You imagine a situation where a senator was coming back. In spite of why he has cover front and back, he was shot and 3 of his policemen were shot. You can imagine a situation where in Kogi State, the chairman of pension board was kidnapped and killed. Then a local government chairman was killed. These are people who should have, ordinary high-profile people should have not just the protection, the intelligence, and capacity to detect what is happening. So they could simply be picked that way. You can imagine what is happening to ordinary citizens.
The southern governors have spoken, and so have the northern governors. What should we expect going forward?
My expectation is that they have engaged themselves much more constructively. As a matter of fact, you can see that they are chesting out. And by chesting out is to, first of all, look, we live in the same environment. We have the same challenges. The level of landmass in all the areas are about the same. The south side, you have sufficiently covered by water. The southeast, small land area. Then in the southwest, a large number covered by water too. So the land mass is not sufficient. And now you now see that, look, if you have to exploit your resources, you have to exploit them maximally. You don't want to be dealing with the issue of security when your people should be in farm. So the way forward is that they have now agreed and tabled some areas and some solutions that will address our problem. They should engage their colleagues from the north. They should also engage their representatives and establish a timeline that these are the irreducible minimum that we can get regarding restoration of our country.
That's all we have for you on the program today. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Also follow me on Twitter. My handle is @TJSUADEOYETVC. Thank you for watching. See you next time.